We have one more page left. Come on. Let me find what we're going to do. I'm hungry again. I should have eaten my lunch. I think we're going to exit out of this Nearpod just because. We're going to kind of watch two videos. Watch two videos. We're gonna go back and watch the was it the Bayview Cemetery video again? Y'all too, log off. We're gonna watch it again. We're gonna watch this about historic landmarks, and we're gonna watch the Bayview. Then we got a page to do about that, and then I'm gonna let y'all see. We're gonna watch it again because we're gonna talk about the features that it has and what makes it special, I guess, or what it was, you know, whatever. We're gonna discuss it, and then we're gonna look at some brochures to kind of get a feel what brochures look like, and then we're gonna move on from there. Nice to know I've got one person here, of course, Natalie. Natalie, do you ever think you're gonna come back to school?
Yes, I'm coming back on November 16th.
Did they already let the office know that you're coming back?
What?
Did your parents already let the office know that you were coming back?
I think so, but I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to send an email anyways for the parents that want to send their kiddos back. They have to, it's kind of like you have to let the office know, otherwise you won't be able to come back. They won't let you come back. But I'm excited if you come back. I'm excited to finally meet you. The first day of school all over again. Adrian, off.
Miss, you've never met any of us?
No, I mean, I met y'all on Zoom until y'all and Antonio came back first. And I met him that one time, and then but everybody else I hadn't. Like I haven't met anybody online except Mariah. That was it.
And you too.
But before that, yeah. Okay, before that it was just Antonio. I told you it was just Antonio and I in here for the longest time, for like 3 weeks. No more than that, wasn't it? No, it was like 3 weeks. Adrian, off. We're gonna look at national monuments or landmarks again. What a landmark is. Okay. Who can give me an example of a landmark, I guess, or historical landmark from the? Chloe, you gave me one earlier.
Are you recording?
Yes, I think. Am I recording y'all online? I think so. Of a landmark or historical landmark. What was one? You gave me one earlier. Probably. Probably off.
I'm gonna subscribe to you.
It's in Paris.
Miss, that's
Yeah, Eiffel Tower. What's another national landmark, Jacob?
hold
on, I can't hear it, Jacob. What? Mount Rushmore. That's one we went over yesterday. AJ.
Englandville.
The Big Ben, right? The clock.
Yeah.
Anybody else remember a national landmark or historical landmark or something? Jacob, one more. Shh, raise your hand, Jacob. The Golden Gate Bridge is on there. That I don't know. I guess maybe that would be a historical site. I guess not everybody can see it. Okay, we're gonna watch this video.
I got one.
One more.
The ones with the heads.
Mount Rushmore. Yeah, Jacob said it. Good job, though. Okay, we're watching this video. Can y'all see it?
See.
The United States is full of interesting places and things, and no matter where you travel, you'll probably end up near something worth visiting. Like what? Well, the U.S. is dotted with national monuments, historic sites, landmarks, which are all places that symbolize our nation, or honor our past, or inspire patriotic feelings. Although they have a lot in common, there are differences between national monuments, historic sites, and landmarks too. A national monument preserves one specific national resource. The word monument might make it sound like it has to be man-made, a statue or structure, but it can really be any piece of land that holds something worth saving, like Devil's Tower in Wyoming or natural bridges in Utah. Other national monuments include the Little Bighorn Battlefield, the Statue of Liberty, and Poverty Point in Louisiana. National historic sites preserve a specific historic feature or honor the location where a historic event took place. That encompasses locations like Ford's Theater, where President Lincoln was assassinated, and Monroe Elementary in Kansas, which is the Brown v. Board of Education site. A national landmark is a building, site, structure, or object that helps us understand our nation's heritage. This includes places like Emily Dickinson's home and the Gateway Arch. Whether it's a monument, a historic site, or a landmark, visiting these types of significant locations can help us gain appreciation of what it means to be an American.
So let me see. I have a picture of the Liberty Bell I can show you in a few minutes. Hold on, I have a picture of the Liberty Bell I can show you. I have a picture of in front of the Eiffel Tower too, but I don't know where it's at. I have to find it. I'll bring some.
Why does the apple look like from Apple?
When was World War I made?
We have one more. Let me find it. The Bayview. Pay attention to the characteristics of the Bayview, what it has and what it doesn't have. Okay, or what? I guess we're gonna watch it again real fast. I swear, I'll never come back to class afterwards. Corpus Christi's Bayview.
Christie? I don't know.
Corpus Christi has a long and rich history that is just waiting to be told. And what better place to start than here at Corpus Christi's own?
Hold on, sorry guys. Can y'all see it? Probably not right. Let me show you again. I know y'all can, but then at home.
Yes, I can see it.
Oh, well, my bad. You can see it again. Pay attention to the Old Bayview. We're going to answer a page on it, AJ. Pay attention.
Old Bayview Cemetery. It's the oldest federal military cemetery in Texas. Old Bayview was laid out by U.S. Army engineers while General Zachary Taylor was encamped here right before the Mexican War. In the summer of 1845, known as Dayton, was transporting men to Corpus Christi when
We're going to watch it because we have to go over a page, so pay attention.
a boiler burst, killing 7 soldiers on board. Because of this tragedy, Taylor obtained the burial site from Henry Kinney, the founder of Corpus Christi.
The uniqueness of the cemetery is it covers, we have troops from the War of 1812, the Texas Revolution, the Mexican War, the Civil War, both Union and Confederate, Indian campaigns, and the Spanish-American War. It is also not segregated. We are all scattered throughout here. There are no areas of segregation.
Many of the soldiers buried here have a very interesting backstory, but 2 stand out because how young they were when they started serving.
The Nolan brothers, and we're doing Tom Nolan's dedication in November. But these 2 boys came with Zachary Taylor's troops. One was 9 and one was 11 years old. They were buglers. And for an army that had no way to communicate with each other, it's very important. But they were buglers, and, what is your 9-year-old and 11-year-old doing? I just couldn't even imagine. They were orphans.
After the war, they come back to Texas and eventually come back to Corpus Christi. Once here, they become local law enforcement, and both brothers are killed in the line of duty. Now, it's not just soldiers buried here. After Taylor's army left Corpus Christi in 1846, the cemetery became the community burial ground. The city of Corpus Christi used it as a final resting place for all of their citizens.
It's literally the shopkeepers, the firemen, it's everybody who's part of the city. So everybody who's in our city now can look back there and see someone who was like them, who's buried in that cemetery. And a lot of them, it's their family because their families have been here for as long as the city's existed.
There has been some vandalism over the years. but with help from the city's Park and Recreation Department and Friends of Old Bayview Cemetery Association, it's starting to become alive again. Every November, the past and the present collide at Old Bayview with the voices of the Coastal Bend. Dozens of storytellers and experts of local history gather to share stories of those buried here. If you are interested in learning more about Corpus Christi's history, visit our website at www.cctexas.com/services/library.
Page 205 in your My View. We're gonna finish this. We're gonna discuss Old Bayview Cemetery. 205.
That's what it is right now.
Hey, good, sweet Larry James. Let me show y'all a picture. Let me share my screen. No, not the homeless man. We're done watching the homeless man. Natalie, are you paying attention?
It's only Natalie?
No, she's not. It's not only Natalie. Page 205. I was going to show you a picture of, I am recording, of the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. I guess that would be like a national monument.
You've been there?
Yeah, in Philadelphia. Let me see where it's at. Hold on. Can y'all see it?
What's that?
It's the Liberty Bell.
Oh, you took a picture of that?
Yes, it's the Liberty Bell. It's inside. It's not outside. It's the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia.
Wait, where did you have that?
They just took it down because it's old and it's historic. It's got a crack down there. You see the crack?
Well,
It's probably about it's at least about as big as this screen.
so.
I mean,
It's kind of
Well,
getting
they didn't
destroyed.
well, it's not getting destroyed. It's inside now. And there's a statue, or there's a monument back there, right? Of somebody, I think they had a lot of Thomas Paine, I think it was. And then they've also have like Rocky. I don't know if y'all heard of the movie Rocky, but they've also, Philadelphia's big on Rocky because they filmed it there where he's like running up the stairs. It's an old school movie. Maybe if you ask your parents, they might know more about it. But
Rocky Balboa.
yeah. Anyways, I have other pictures I can bring in of like other things I can show. Okay, so in the box.
And then it shoots everybody to like a boat and then like remember everything.
Page 205. So know how field research helps Samuel and Olivia learn about the playgrounds. Now do field research with your partner on an adult to learn about your landmark. If you are not able to visit a landmark in person, work with your partner and visualize. So I guess here we can draw the cemetery. What does the cemetery look like? I guess it's got, hey, come on.
You're just gonna draw the big old
We're just gonna draw the headstones, I guess, right? You kind of look like this. Yes, you are doing this too. These are the headstones, I guess. What were those boys' names? I forgot their names. The 9 and 10-year-old brothers.
No,
What were their the Nolan brothers, right?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put Nolan. Nolan. I don't know. You can put some scribbles here of writing, I guess, because that's the way the tombstones look, right? Oh, I forgot the end there. Nolan. Some scribbles. I don't know. What else did it have?
It had some towers, kind of.
Some monuments, I guess.
There's some, we got some American flags.
Put American flags there. Yes, you are doing this.
All the towers.
Yeah. So it was a cemetery that was
Old?
an old cemetery, but during what war? Was it World War I?
No, the Civil War,
Two.
the Mexican War.
Okay. A
That's
cemetery.
like World War II. No,
Cemetery.
Civil War and Mexican War. So it's World War II.
A cemetery from the Civil War?
Yeah, and Mexican War.
The Civil
Will there be another World War?
War. I don't know. And Mexican War, right?
Yeah.
Mexican War. Clickety clack 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 clack.
I can't see it.
Hold on. A cemetery from the Civil War and Mexican War. Y'all can draw your little cemetery like that.
I do like round like
Cool, that's fine. Yeah, you do plenty of them. It looks like a cemetery. A cemetery from the Civil and Mexican War. It looks like a real cemetery.
From the what?
Civil and Mexican War. And let me make sure you're getting this.
Americans always win. Why do you say that?
Really? I'll show you some brochures I have right here. Like this. Did you get this down, Jacob? Your handwriting practice, Adrian. Practice your handwriting. I'm gonna give you handwriting practice next week.
Were the Golden Brothers in Texas then United States?
Yeah, I'm guessing they were from this area because they were buried at the Bayview Cemetery. I kind of want to go to that cemetery now.
I can't believe 9 and
Field trip.
9 and 11-year-olds.
Oh,
We're fighting in a war. I know.
They're too young to be in a war.
We could be clap.
one bullet from a 9-year-old. I'm okay. A 9-year-old with a shotgun. Just one whip. The 9-year-old, yeah, but the 12-year-old, I'm pretty sure he was dead.
No, it's not 12. It's 9 and 11.
No, I'm pretty sure it pushed him back.
Oh,
9/11.
12, 11.
Your pot takes forever too.
There's a 9 and 11.
The kid.
Oh, I like it.
The 9-year-old. I want to know how to shoot a gun.
I think I am too impressed.
Do it. So every time I shoot a gun, it's going to do this. A shotgun has only 8 shotguns. 8 shot.
Can I go use the restroom?
No, another shotgun? Yeah. But it only has like 2 bullets inside.
Can I go use the restroom?
No. I don't know. I'm on chapter 3, lesson 4, lesson 10.
Do it right there.
I don't know. Oh, okay. So, what are some special features, I guess, of that cemetery? I guess.
Randy was asking if he needs the restroom.
Yeah, RJ, you can go to the restroom. Sorry. What are some special features of that cemetery? This is kind of old. You have to get credit. Yeah.
It's
What it is, like it says in
Very old. Let me make that R better. It's very old. What else? I guess it's. No, what else?
They're old, they're dirty, they're
Oh, it has veterans.
what did I say that?
Veterans
Veterans.
are buried here. One more. What else? What?
I said a veteran is an army man.
Yeah, somebody that fought in the. I guess not necessarily fought in the war, but was in the military. What's another one? It's very old. Veterans are buried here. I guess it was a I guess it's a landmark, right? Historic landmark. Yeah, I'll just put that. Historic landmark. Historic landmark. Historic landmark. That's gonna be it. What?
You know, my grandfather was in the army.
Army for how long?
Until he was released.
Why don't
He
you ask?
fought in a war with the Germans.
Why don't you ask it and come and then tell us tomorrow?
And he has a picture
My dad was an army too.
with an arrow.
How much people? How much?
He had a picture when he was in the army and he put an arrow.
You should ask your mom and then come back and tell us tomorrow. Like
Sherman, what is that letter?
Or he fought
What
a
was
war against
World War
the
II made?
the 1940 historic landmark.
Or now World War II?
Which one?
Like next to World War III.
Right here's an O. When you've got this down, you can close this book.
Okay.
And we're going to do social studies. We're going to be reading. What is it? What chapter is it? No, we're going to do social studies.
Well, my dad
I don't even know what chapter this is. Chapter. Oh yeah. Let's read this chapter, then we can start it at least today. I know, my bad.
Tomorrow.
The principal thing, yeah, we can probably finish it in the morning. We're doing some walking.
So we're not gonna do the reading part? Okay, when you go home, get your one out.
The what?
I told AJ, it's okay, go home. When you go home, get some more milk.
Wait, what did you ask? We're not gonna do what?
We're not gonna do the reading. We're gonna do
For social studies?
What?
For social studies?
Yeah.
We're gonna read the chapter, and that's probably all we'll get to. Landmark?
No, next to the
An A? Okay, I'm here. Fine. The end.
the other one, to the left.
Berry? B-U-R-I-E.
That one. Next to general.
Right here?
Next to the right.
Oh,
that
one. C-I-D-I-L. When you're done with that, get your social studies book out. Where's that? Your Read My View book. We're gonna read the chapter. Chapter 3, lesson 1. Page 102, I think, or 101. Yeah.
Wait, color.
Red says my world. Oh no. I lied. We're in. No, I lied. No, that never mind. Page 106.
So the right behind you?
Yeah, in social studies. If you're done, get your social studies book out. 106.
On the screen, I put their nation. No, that's God.
Somebody has a job, the board. Whose job is to swipe the board clean. 106. At home, did y'all get it so we can erase it? Social studies, my world, page 106. We'll probably just get to read the story. We'll have to do the quiz like on Friday. Somebody's job is to clean the board.
Me. Wait, you did right on there.
Yes, I did. We'll probably just read the story, then I'll let y'all see brochures afterwards. And if we have time, we'll start the principal thing. Yeah.
I can't hear.
Y'all are way too loud in here. My world, page 106, your social studies book. I'm pulling it up right now so you can see.
What's the number again? 166?
106. What is this? Did they change it?
There.
Oh, right here. Chapter 3, the early texts. Lesson 1. Pay attention because I'm going to ask y'all questions.
What page is that?
106.
Okay. What page?
106.
How did they not hear you?
I don't know. They're glitchy. I don't know. AJ, you paying attention? Put the ruler away. We're not in math right now. Ooh, I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
Yeah, you have to have the last week. Oh, I don't want to 6 inches.
Yeah. Come on, this computer is so slow today. 106. First Texans. Can y'all see my screen?
Yeah.
I know y'all can. Audrina,
Oh, that's 4.
thumbs up. Okay. I'll pay attention. I can't see them over here. Oh, they're on my world too next door. Got it. What?
Lesson 1, the first Texans. I will know the possible origins of the first people to arrive in North America and Texas. Vocabulary: Ice Age, archaeologist, hunter-gatherer, quarry, descendant, culture, artifact, agriculture. The first Americans hunted huge animals that died out and became extinct long ago. Draw a picture of an animal that still lives wild on the Texas plains. Write the animal's name on the line. Little is known about the possible origin.
What would be an animal we could write in this picture if we wanted to draw one that still runs wild today? A wolf? What else maybe?
A horse.
A horse?
A goat.
A goat? Maybe what else? Maybe a cow? A zebra? A cow? Yeah.
Of the American Indians who first lived in North America. Some scientists say they arrived tens of thousands of years ago during an ice age. An ice age is a time when huge sheets of ice and snow cover parts of Earth's land and sea. During the last ice age, the oceans shrank. People from Asia could walk to North America across a strip of land that linked the two continents. This land bridge is called Beringia. The first Americans. These ancient people were hunter-gatherers. A hunter-gatherer is a person who collects plants and hunts wild animals for food. They may have followed herds of huge animals, such as woolly mammoths and giant bison, across the grassy plains of Beringia. Scientists have other theories or ideas about possible.
Oh, let me tell you something to highlight. Right here on the first paragraph. People from highlight this or underline it. You're gonna need it for your quiz you're gonna have eventually. If I were y'all. Hold on. I'm gonna where's the highlight? Right here. People from Asia could walk to North America across a strip of land linked the two continents. This land bridge is called the Beringia. I would underline that part or highlight that word because it is going to be on your quiz. Yes, I know because I created the quiz. So yes, I know that's the question I created. Another one. It's the last sentence of that paragraph. At home, highlight it so you don't have to go back and forth. Also, you're gonna need to know what a hunter-gatherer is. So I would underline that or highlight the word and the definition of hunter-gatherer. Hunter-gatherer, I would underline that. I'm helping y'all out for your quiz, which hopefully we eventually get to. We should get to by Friday. I would underline this stuff. Some of y'all are not doing well in social studies because you don't pay attention. Highlight this stuff. I'm helping y'all.
Didn't they kill marmots?
Yeah, they used to. And they would probably eat them for who knows how long, maybe a year because they're so big. Okay, let's keep going.
Origins of the first people who may have come to North America.
Pay attention.
Some think that ancient people from Europe crossed a part of the ocean that was frozen, hunting seals. Or perhaps people sailed along the coasts in small boats. 1. Identify and circle on the map the strip of land people used to cross from Asia to North America. Possible origins of the earliest Texans. The first American Indians of present-day Texas were descendants of the earliest people who came to North America. A descendant is a relative, such as a person's children and grandchildren. The ancient Texans probably reached the Texas plains more than 15,000 years ago. They too followed and hunted huge animals, mastodons and mammoths.
I would underline this. The ancient Texans would probably reach the Texas plains more than 15,000 years ago, or about 15,000 years ago. That is a question on your quiz. I'm trying to help y'all out. I even put a picture of the page on that quiz. Right. Y'all should not miss these. Nobody should be barely passing social studies either. We do almost everything together. Y'all got it at home or you're underlining what I'm underlining? I'm trying to help. Okay, I'm trying to help to make it easier.
These ancient Texans adapted to their environment. To adapt means to adjust or change. Bones, ashes, spear points, and other artifacts provide clues about how they lived. An artifact is an object made and used by people. Scientists called archaeologists study the culture and artifacts of early people. They say that hunters in Texas threw darts or spears, using atlatls or long sticks to kill large game. Back at camp, people used the animal's meat to feed many families. They used the animal's skin to make clothing and tents. Tools were made from the animal's bones.
Oh, I would underline that last sentence. Tools are made from animal bones. What? Yeah. Tools were made from animal bones.
Wait, what is?
Tools. Tools are made from
Most likely.
They probably sharpened the bone up, and your bones were like sturdy and hard, so they would sharpen it and make it into like a spear or something, or maybe a knife or something.
That's your other game.
Yeah, let's get it.
2. Summarize 4 ways people adapted to their environment and used the animals they hunted.
Next page, pay attention.
The ancient people trade resources. As the people followed the great herds across Texas, they discovered resources that they could modify. In the red mesas of the Texas Panhandle, they found flint. Flint is a hard rock that people shaped into points for spears and arrows. At first, they gathered the flint from the hillsides. Later, they mined it from quarries or open pits where people mine or dig up rocks. Today, the area is known as the Alabates Flint Quarries National Monument. Tools made from Alabates flint have been found across the Southwest and the Great Plains. Archaeologists say this shows the people traded Texas flint far and wide. Trade made it possible for people to have access to resources that could not easily be made or found where they lived.
Wait, let me find this for the discussion. I think this is the part we need to. Oh, right here. They discovered research they could modify in red mesa. They found flint touches. At first.
Are we just gonna wait?
Yeah, let me see what we're. Oh, right here. This is gonna go together. They discovered resources they could modify, and then I would underline quarries. Yeah, they discovered resources they could modify, and then they modified it with the quarries, the way they modified it.
3. Identify and underline 2 details on this page that explain why ancient people modified and used flint to meet their basic needs. A new way of life. As the last ice age came to an end, life in ancient Texas changed. The great beasts died out. Smaller animals, such as elk and bears, took their places. This changed the culture of the people who had once depended on mammoths and giant bison. Culture means way of life. A new culture took hold. People continued to hunt animals, but they turned more to plants for food. They modified their environment and learned to save and plant the seeds to grow food.
Oh, I would underline that. They modified their environment and learned to save and plant the seeds to grow food. Word for word, your answer on one of your quiz questions.
This change to agriculture began about 2,000 years ago. Agriculture means farming. The main crops were corn, beans, and squash. People settled in small clusters to be near their fields. They dried food for later use and stored it in woven baskets and clay pots. They traded their baskets, pots, and food for other goods. 4. Contrast life for ancient American Indians before and after the last ice age. Got it? 5. Compare and contrast. Explain the possible origins of the American Indian groups of North America and Texas. Compare where they came from and how they got here. 6. Describe how ancient Texans adapted to their environment. 7. Suppose you could send an email to a child who lived in Texas 2,000 years ago. Write the email to share how your life is different from their life. Give at least 3 examples.
What we're gonna do with y'all online, I guess we can Google y'all here. We're gonna look at brochures. You're gonna create a brochure. Here online, I'm gonna find one that y'all can kind of look at.
Wait, can we do the Yahoo?
Y'all can close your book. Okay. Yes. Oh, I get that. I'm gonna find one for y'all online to look at. Ooh, keep it. You can bring it back. No, you're gonna look at it right now and try to see what it has in it. Whoa. Let's get your stuff. I got a good one. Yo, mine's cool. Blue. Oh, that's my one. Whoa. Oh. Cool. So, in class, we're looking at brochures because we're going to make one in class. I haven't figured out yet how y'all are going to make one at home, but we're going to make a brochure in class about a park, I think it is, that we should make a historical landmark. So, let me find one that y'all can kind of maybe look at again. Does anybody at home know what a brochure looks like or what it has? Hey, gosh. What do those brochures have that y'all can see? So let's look at some of these brochures. It has colors. So, travel brochure. Well, we're not going to make a travel brochure. We're going to make an argumentative brochure about a landmark, we should say. But what does a brochure have a lot of it in? Y'all at home can see my screen, and here's like brochures right here. What does your brochure have? Black people versus the Board of Education. What else? AJ, what is your?
It's like
it gives examples of tourist destinations, doesn't it? Like a places to go.
Yeah, it's like a boat.
Michael, what does yours have in it? What is that thing called in there? What is that called? What's that called? Adrian, that's not what it's for.
Also,
take it off. What do a lot of brochures have in them? What are those called? It has 3 letters. 3 letters. What do they have in them? At home. A map. A lot of them have a map to kind of tell you where to go. Ray, yours has one on the back. AJ has one of New Orleans. That's one from New Orleans.
Wait, I'm from New Orleans. Oh, that's it.
Raise your hand if you want to talk. AJ. Jacob. Yes, some of y'all probably have seen travel brochures. When you go out of town.
I would been out of town.
When y'all go to town, you can pick them up to kind of see what is in that town, what's available. We're going to be making one of these. Jacob. We're going to be making one of these, not a travel brochure, but a brochure. So look at it closely and see what it has in there. I guess y'all at home, while they're looking at that, I will see y'all tomorrow morning at home, okay? Got it? I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye. Y'all keep looking. Y'all